from? How are
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this masterclass. Thank you for joining us today. We're super excited to share this with you guys. We're gonna wait a little bit to for more people to connect, right, Aniston?
Yes,
Awesome.
but so excited. Thank you so much, Juan, for being here. If you guys don't know, Juan is also known as IG Creator Academy. He has a Reels course and his own membership course that helps over 850 students turn their
Yes.
passions into full-time careers. So super excited for you to be here to dive
Thank
into creating a content strategy.
Yeah, thank you for having me. While we wait for people to join, why don't you guys tell us where you're joining us from? We already see someone from Stockholm in Sweden, from Alabama. I'm currently in Bogota, Colombia. Aniston, you are in
Oregon,
Oregon.
the
So we
West
have
Coast.
quite a broad international audience. Toronto, Canada. Amazing. I love Canadians. They're so friendly. Germany. Yay. Super, super exciting. We'll wait a few more minutes and then we'll get started. Louisiana, North Carolina, Calgary. I actually lived in Edmonton in Alberta for a year
I feel
back
like
in
you've
COVID.
lived everywhere.
Utah, Sri Lanka. I dream about going to Sri Lanka. It's like top of my bucket list for travel. Guatemala, Latinos, awesome. By the way, I am Latino. I am from Bogota, Colombia. I'm currently visiting my family here. But yes, as Aniston says, I like to travel a lot. Chile, Manila, wow, South Africa, Las Vegas,
Wow.
Guatemala, awesome. Mexico City, Barcelona. I am normally based in Barcelona. It's like my second home where my heart is, and I've lived there for 14 years actually. So, yeah, I'm excited to go back in a few weeks and stay there all summer. Right. So, shall we get started?
Yes, let's do it.
Awesome. Let's do it. So, again, thank you for joining us, guys. Welcome to this masterclass. This three secrets to creating a content strategy that actually works. Why are we doing this? We know that many creators, new entrepreneurs, small business owners freak out when we talk about content strategies. So we're gonna try to simplify it here. It's not that complicated. It's actually super simple, but it's very effective. If you have a content strategy that works, it not only makes your content work, but your business as well grows with it, especially if you have content businesses on social media, like most of us do. So, brief introduction. Well, Aniston already did a great introduction, but my name is Juan. I am the founder of IG Creator Academy. I'm a full time content creator and an entrepreneur, and I managed to turn my passions and expertise into a full time online business with the power of content and social media. And now my mission is to help other creatorpreneurs, as I like to call them, do exactly the same so they can achieve freedom, whatever freedom looks like for them. So, guys in the audience, what does freedom look like to you? Just is it like travel or spending more time with your family or just not having like a fixed schedule? Let us know what freedom looks like to you. And that's exactly what I do inside of my programs. As Aniston was saying, I have a Reels course, I have a membership, and I'm going to be launching a bigger program very soon that's going to be focused on monetizing content on social media in general. So I'm pretty excited about that. Actually,
That's
let
super
me see.
exciting.
Decide over my time for myself. Yes, that's exactly one of the reasons why I started this to achieve that kind of freedom to travel. But yes, freedom looks different for everyone, but it's my goal to help you achieve that freedom through content and social media because it is possible. Like I've done it, so many people have done it as well. So if you just have the right strategies and starting with a great content strategy, you're going to be able to achieve this. So let's keep going. I do want to remind you that if you stay until the end of this masterclass, you're going to get a free resource created by me that's going to help you apply some of the concepts that we're going to be learning today, apply them right away, and start seeing those results. And also, I would love you guys for if you can take a photo or a video and share this while you're in this class in your Instagram stories, and make sure to tag me, IG Creator Academy, and Metricool at Metricool app, and we'll be sharing those stories afterwards. So if you find something very insightful or you've learned something that you've never heard before, take a photo or a video, upload it to your stories, and tag us. All right, so first things first, what is a content strategy and why do you need one? As I said, we're going to try to simplify it as much as possible because it's not complicated. A content strategy always starts, we're going to reverse engineer it. It always starts with goals. You should have clear goals as a business, as a brand on social media. What are your main goals, right? Then you have a clear plan. How are you going to execute things in order to achieve those goals? And then you have your content. How are you going to use content within this plan to execute your goals? So when you have clear goals, a clear plan, and great content, that's when you win, right? That's when you achieve your goals. And let's review what are the main social media goals that businesses and brands should have. First one is brand awareness, which is to get your name or brand seen by more people, or you could also call it reach. We all want to reach new people. We all want new eyes in our brand, in our business. The second goal is community building. This is to build strong relationships with your audience and make them like you as a person or a brand. We should always be building connections because at the end of the day, social media is for that. It's for building connections with your audience, deeper connections, and it allows us to do that. That's the amazing thing about social media. We get to connect with our audience at a deeper level that other channels don't allow us to do. Then we have audience growth, which is we all want to grow our brand. We all want to grow our business. So it's another of the main goals that you should have for your content. Lead generation and sales, which basically means moving your followers towards an action that is profitable. So this could be, either have them subscribe to your email list or sending them to your sales page or to your product page and making them actually purchase, buy something from you and become customers. And also web or external traffic, which is not necessarily related to sales, but driving traffic to your website, to your blog, or to other social media channels. So these are the five main social media goals that you should always have in mind when creating your content strategy. So
So,
based,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So, say that someone is, just launching their business or they're, wondering what would you, obviously it's different for everyone, but if they didn't know, how could you, help them and say, this is a goal that you should aim for?
that's a great question. And by the way, guys, there's going to be a Q&A at the end. So if you do have questions, we'll do a whole Q&A session at the end. But to answer this question, it really depends. Just as with life and with business, content goes by phases. So if you are just getting started, you're just getting started with your social media presence, you do need to focus more on building that brand awareness and that growth. You want to get more people to see and hear about you, reach more people, and convert them into followers, right? And that's like the first phase where everyone starts. But let's say that you've already established some kind of presence. You want them to get to know you better, right? So that's when you start creating. You still create more brand awareness content, but you might start creating some more personal, relatable content that I'm gonna be talking about right now. But then once they know you and they like you and they trust you, it's time to sell. So you're going to focus mostly your content on promotional or lead generation or website traffic, etc. So that's why it's so important that besides having a content strategy, to have a clear plan. At least for the quarter. I don't like planning too far in advance because things change really fast in social media. But at least for the quarter, do you have any launches coming, or are you just going to focus on brand awareness and audience growth, or you are going to take those followers that you already have and start bringing them to your own spaces, which is extremely important, and we're going to be talking about that as well. So it really depends on what phase you're in. You should be able to um, determine the phase you're in. Again, if you're just getting started, focus on growth and brand awareness. But if you're already established and you want to start becoming a profitable brand on social media, you need to start selling. But the best way to sell is obviously to take people outside of the social media and to your own platforms. So I hope that answers your question. But we're going to be seeing this more in depth throughout the class. And as I said, we're going to be doing a Q&A at the end. And
Awesome.
someone's asking if the session will be recorded. Yes, it's going to be recorded and posted both in Metrical's YouTube channel and my YouTube channel as well. They've answered already. So going back, so based on the previous social media goals, our content on social media should always do at least one of the following things. It should allow us to connect more with our community. And we do this by creating content that is slightly more personal. It doesn't matter if you're a commercial brand or personal brand, there's a story behind you. So you share your story, your personal struggles, or you make yourself more relatable through your content. Basically, any type of content that allows you to connect with your audience at a deeper level. Your content should also persuade your audience to make a specific action. This is what I called actionable content. So, based on their previous goals, this content is where you either take your followers out of your social media to your website, to your blog, or you make them take an action, purchase something from you, book a call, buy, get into your course, etc. Your content should reach new audiences, and this is what I call growth content. Again, because we all want to grow not only our presence, but we all want to grow our business. And your content should always build trust, credibility, and authority. And this is what I call expert content. So every time you create a piece of content, your content should do at least one of the previous. It can do both. For example, you can create something that's really relatable, that connects a lot with your audience, and it's so well received that people share it and love it, which makes you reach new audiences, right? So here you're connecting and you're reaching new audiences. But those are the four main things that your content should always do. So now that we've seen what is a content strategy in simple terms, what type of content should you be creating for your content strategy, and the goals that you should have, let's take a look at the three secrets that we're going to be covering today. Secret number one: content and personality pillars. Um, you've probably all heard about content pillars, but if you're not using personality pillars in your content, again, doesn't matter if you're a commercial brand or business or personal brand, you should always incorporate personality pillars into your content, because these increase the connection that you have with your audience. Again, we're talking about connection. Social media is about connection, and it also leads to more sales in the long run. And we'll talk about this. Secret number two is content powerhouse. Why should you be creating a content powerhouse, which is basically maximizing your content efforts, content output, sorry, but reducing your efforts, your time, because you don't want to be spending a lot of time, but you do want to have a lot of reach. You want to be reaching a lot of people and be present in more than just one social media platform. And secret number three is content optimization. How can you track your content, see what's working, what's not working, get rid of what's not working, improve what's working, and double down on that? So, secret number one: content and personality pillars. By the way, Allison, if someone's saying something, you let me know, because I am in the presentation mode and I don't see the comments. But if someone's saying something relevant, just let me know and I'll answer them. But for the rest, again, we're doing a Q&A at the end to answer all your questions about content creation, social media strategy, etc. So, start with your content pillars, but don't stop here. Content pillars are 3 to 5 topics that you will constantly discuss and amplify on your social media channels. Okay, these are things that you should definitely be an expert on, that you should be able to talk about consistently. That think about the things that you can talk about for hours and hours without having to prepare anything. These are your content pillars. And content pillars are always based on, besides your expertise, of course, your audience's struggles. What are the questions that they ask all the time? What are their main goals, and what are their desires? So now we're going to take a look at my content pillars so that you have a clear understanding. My first content pillar is Instagram growth strategy. Why? Well, I am an expert at Instagram growth. an Instagram strategy. So that's one thing. But I also know that most people in my audience struggle with growing their accounts. So see, there's these two parts. I'm an expert and there's a need for that. So that's my first content pillar. My second content pillar is social media monetization. Why? Because I know about this. I've done it myself. I've helped hundreds of students do this. And I know that besides growing an account, most people want to generate sales or revenue through social media. Most people are building a business on social media. My content pillar number three is mindset. Most creators, entrepreneurs, and new business owners struggle with this, and their desire is to be able to master it. And it's not easy. I struggle with mindset sometimes, but it also makes one of my content pillars relatable. And we're going to see how this ties into my personality pillars in a bit. And entrepreneurship, because I get a lot of questions about entrepreneurship. I know that people, besides growing their Instagram account and making money, they want to become better entrepreneurs because that's quite challenging. It's not easy to start your own business, and especially when you're in the first phase as a solopreneur, it's not easy. So I'll get a lot of questions. So that's another of my content pillars. It's something that I'm going through. It's part of my personality pillars as well, and some of the questions that I get all the time. So now that we've seen what content pillars are, let's take a look at what personality pillars are. And this is something that I discovered not too long ago, and I thought it was brilliant, and that it should definitely be there should be created more awareness around these because not a lot of people talk about personality pillars. So, what are personality pillars? They help you create instant brand recognition, staying power, and bringing more of your ideal audience in because you're offering multiple points of connection to them. So, the two key things that you have to look at here are brand recognition, because you want to be able to stand out from the mass competition out there, and connection to your audience. If we take a look at my content pillars, how many people are already doing Instagram growth, monetization, mindset, entrepreneurship? Thousands of people. So if I don't incorporate personality pillars into my content, it's going to be really hard for me to stand out, connect with people, and of course, sell more at the end of the day. People choose you because of your personality, not because of your knowledge or expertise. And again, this doesn't only apply to personal brands. This applies to commercial brands as well. Your brand has to have a personality, especially if you're on social media. So the first personality pillar is your core values. And they can be as simple as like, do you give back? Are you committed to inclusivity? Do you believe in work-free weekends and freedom? As I was talking at the beginning, for me, it's freedom, achieving freedom, whatever that looks like for people. And whether it's personal or business related, we all have values and boundaries and things that we stand for unapologetically over time. And your audience wants to know about these things. So for in my case, my core values, as I just said, are freedom. I talk about freedom all the time in my content, and that's the people that I also want to attract: freedom seekers, people that don't want to stay in the 9 to 5 grind, people that want to travel more, people that want to spend more time with their families. Like, this is something that I'm currently doing. I'm here in Colombia for 1 month with my family, with my laptop working from here, but I'm able to spend more time with them, and I couldn't do this before. So freedom for me is one of my top core values. Vulnerability. I'm always vulnerable and opening about my struggles, and this is unique to me, and this is also something that makes me connect with people. I'm talking about what I'm going through. So vulnerability is extremely important for me, and it's one of my main values for my brand. Transparency. Again, I'm super transparent about what I'm going through, not only personal but in my business. And people really feel that they resonate with this. They connect with me even more because they see that, oh, he's going through that. I'm also going through the same. Like, I'm not alone. I like him now. So it's creating this like likability factor that we need to create, and authenticity. So you really need to sit down and think, what are my core values? How can I incorporate them into my content? And it's super simple. You incorporate these core values into your content through storytelling, telling stories. That's super, super simple. Your next personality pillar is your X factor. And we've all got quirks and elements that are unique to us. Maybe you're a Netflix lover and you love like a specific Netflix show. Maybe you love animals. Maybe you're a comic freak. These things that your friends recognize you for, and maybe the things that they would tag you on social media posts. Talk about these things to your content. You'll be amazed at the great response of people that will be, oh, wow, I didn't know this about you, or wow, I'm the same as you. So they connect more with you, right? So everything you do has an opportunity to invite people into the conversation, including the weirdest, the fun, and the funniest parts of you. In my case, my X factors are my jazzy shirts. As you can see, I'm always wearing a cool, funky shirt, and it's become part of my personality pillar for my brand. People recognize me for this. People ask me about these shirts, and like they always think about shirts. One, they relate that to me, right? But I'm also, for example, a Game of Thrones fan. I
Oh,
haven't talked this about through my content, but I could, talk about how being an entrepreneur relates to a specific character in Game of Thrones, things like that. And I'm sure that tons of people would connect to that even more. Again, it's a little bit of storytelling, as I said before. So think about what is your X factor, what can you stand out for, and what is unique to you. Incorporate this into your content. And I'm not only talking about social media content here. I'm talking about your emails. I'm talking about your blogs, your videos, everything. Incorporate your X factor, because we're trying with personality pillars, we're trying to stand out from the mass. That's extremely important, especially in today's times where it's so overcrowded. There's so much competition. You need to find a way of standing out. The next personality pillar is your intentional impact. We've all got what binds our business, and that is our impact through what we sell. Because at the end of the day, we're here to sell as well. So we need to find ways in which we can tie in our products, our services, our offers. So, how are you trying to create a positive impact in the world through your products? Going back to my case, I'm helping people achieve freedom by teaching them how to grow a social media presence, monetize it, and turn it into a full-time business. So my products and my services are intentionally tied into that. So when I talk about my intentional impact, I always try to incorporate my products into the conversation, right? Or it can be also as simple as getting back to the roots and remember what motivated you to become an entrepreneur. Again, for me, it was freedom in the first place. And the last personality pillar is your unapologetic opinion, because we've all got elements of our personality that are polarizing. At one point or another, you're bound to say something that people are going to disagree with, and that is fine. You can't be liked by everyone, but you do have to create an opinion. This not only makes you seem more trustworthy, but it builds more credibility about your thoughts and opinions. And you want to be seen as a thought and opinion leader, not as someone that's saying pretty much what everyone else is saying. So you do need to have an apologetic opinion. Um, what point of view are you scared to share right now? And before you put it out into the world, comfort yourself and then factor it into the lens of your business. Why is it important for your audience to know about your opinion? And polarizing opinions are the content that really help you stand out. And you don't have to do it for the sake of it. It's connected to your core values. So these are the four personality pillars that you should always try to include in your content. And now we're going to take a look at how you can incorporate your content pillars and your personality pillars into your content plan. So I've created this that is a content matrix. It's really simple to use. You can do it anytime. And by doing this, you're going to be able to get tons of content ideas, like overflow of content ideas. You're never going to run up content ideas if you do this exercise. So before showing you the matrix, let's go back to the four main pieces of content that you should create on Instagram or social media. I've created this cage formula, which is basically C for community, A for actionable, G for growth, and E for expert. And now let's look at the matrix. So you're going to create a matrix like this. On the left side, you're going to put the main content categories that you should always include in your content. So community, actionable, growth, and expert. And on the top, you're going to put your personality pillars: values, X factor, impact, and opinion. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take each of your content pillars. So let's use an example of mine. My main content pillar is Instagram growth, and you're gonna for every content pillar, you're gonna find a way in which you can tie in the community part and the values, the community and the X factor, the community and the impact. So for social media growth, uh, something that could be specifically from our community could be about the struggles that I'm going through right now with low reach, which is something that's actually happening, and I posted about that today. So I'm going through a phase of low reach. How can I connect that to my values? Well, my values of vulnerability. So I'm opening up about my low reach, and this is affecting me in some way. It's making me doubt my content. It's making me not want to post as much as I should, So you create those kind of content ideas when you take one content pillar, you find the intersection between the four content categories and the four content personality pillars. So that's it right now for content pillars and personality pillars. I don't know if there's been any questions, but if not, we'll continue. And as I said, we do have a Q&A at the end, and I'll be answering all of your questions.
I just want to say the personality pillars is huge. I think that more often than not, we're hurt. It's we're supposed to pump out as much content as possible, follow those content pillars, but I really love that you brought in that personality. I think that's huge, and like you said, that's what makes you different. That's what makes you you, and it's you're not losing your personality through your work. And like you said, you really want to create that freedom for people and have them live their authentic lives while, pursuing their full-time business and whatever. So I think that's huge. And if people aren't taking notes, you should take notes because
You should take notes and
super valuable.
take photos as well and share them in your stories. Someone is asking, can you give examples? But I can't read the full question.
I think that was, yeah, just give examples, but
Oh, well, I did previously did an example of like how I can, take I have four content pillars, which I shared previously. Now,
mhm,
how can I take my main content, my first content pillar, which is Instagram growth, and think about the community aspect of it. How can I connect more with my audience through Instagram growth? Well, it's something that I'm going through a struggle, which is lower reach right now. How can I incorporate my values into this idea? Well, my values are vulnerability, transparency. So I'm going to be transparent and vulnerable about how I'm feeling about what I'm going through with Instagram growth. And then if you actually, not right now, but at the end, if you go to my latest post, it's actually what I'm talking about today. I've been on like a follower decline for the past months. So I'm making a little bit fun of it. It's relatable, but it's also like, it bothers me a little bit, but then I'm giving people ideas on what to do when you're going through a phase like that. So see
yeah,
how I tied my values and the community aspect of this content pillar. And yes, I'm posting on Facebook. It's not like my main channel, but I'll show you I'll show you my strategy a little bit. Do you not feel fully exposed? Actually, the more open you are to your audience, the better. And it's one of the trends that we are seeing on social media with content creators that the more vulnerable you are, the more that you share your struggles or what you're going through, the better you're going to connect with them. And there might be people who think like, oh, why are you sharing this? But that's not my tribe. That's not the people that I want to attract. And but there's people that will always resonate with you, right? So don't be afraid to open up and be vulnerable, because we're all human and we all struggle with things. And if you share these with people, other people that are struggling with this are not going to feel alone anymore. They're going to feel like, okay, I'm not in this alone. Like other people are going through this. I feel better about myself. So you're actually making other people feel better about themselves by opening up than by keeping it to you and making it seem like if all is peaches and cream.
absolutely. That's huge.
So Anderson, if you want to add the banner at the bottom,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but you can join Metrical. Metrical is free. You're probably already using it, but if you join with my code Creator Academy and a special link that we'll be sharing, you can get a free month of the premium plans for for 30 days for free. And also my Instagram account is at ig.creatoracademy. So if you want to take a photo or a video of the current class, share it in your stories. We'll repost it afterwards.
Yay.
Um, someone was saying in the vertical side, should you put your content pillars, for example, Instagram and the vertical sides. I like to do it like this for every content pillar. But you could do it the other way. You could put your content pillars and then do it for every content category for community, actionable growth, and expert. I don't think it makes a difference. So we'll
Mhm.
continue with this because I do want to answer all of your questions. So if you have a question that might take like more than 5 minutes to answer, keep it for the end, and I'll be answering them. So let's move on to content powerhouse, and this is my favorite topic. What is a content powerhouse? It's a system that allows creators and brands to consistently produce high quality content at scale in order to build a successful and profitable business on social media. Why is this important? Because as I said previously, there's so much competition right now. There's so many people doing what you are doing. There's so many businesses trying to sell what you're doing as well. So you want to be able to maximize your content output, because when you do this, you reach more people. You're present in more channels, not just in one channel, and this also makes your business more profitable at the end of the day when you start selling, because you're not going to be selling just in one channel. You're going to be selling in multiple channels. We'll see this more in depth right now. So how to create a content powerhouse system. And I start with a blog. And you might ask, why a blog? Well, it's no mystery, it's no secret that Google is the number one search engine in the world. So, whatever you're doing, whether you are an Instagram creator, a TikTok creator, or you're a business, if you are on Google, you increase the chances of being discovered by new people every single day, which increases the chances of more visitors to your website, more visitors to your offers page, and of course these new visitors coming from Google can also translate into social media followers. So you do want to have a presence in Google, and the easiest way to do this is by having a blog. Nowadays, it's so easy to create a blog. You have all these AI tools that you give them specific prompts with keywords. They create the first draft, you change it, so you don't have to waste hours and hours as it used to be like a year ago on a blog post if you're not good at writing. I do love writing, so I do write my blog post, and it's like it's my zone of genius, writing. So I always start with a blog post. Then I convert this blog post, or I use the text of the blog post as a script for YouTube. And some of you might not be in YouTube yet, but Google and YouTube are the top two search engines. So first Google, then YouTube. So if you have a presence on both of these, you are winning the game already. Like, you are winning the game if you even if you have a small following on other social media. If you are present on Google and on YouTube, you're winning here. Okay. So I do recommend you to either start having a presence on with a blog, or on YouTube with the video, or if you can do both, if you have the time to do both, do both. So what happens after this? Another very important thing that you should have as someone building a business on social media is an email list. Okay, we do not own our social media followers. That's a fact. There was the an outage like last October, and a lot of people lost access to their accounts. A lot of people lost followers. Like, this can happen anytime again, and it could happen indefinitely. So you're going to be losing all your content. You're going to be losing all your followers. So you need to start thinking of actionable content, as I said at the beginning, to start driving people to your own spaces. A blog is a great place where you can drive people, and then you can get them to opt in into your newsletter for more content. But building an email list it's not an option anymore. You have to start doing this. Okay, you
Mhm.
have to start driving your audience to a newsletter. And I know that it might seem like a lot of work, like, okay, a blog, a YouTube, a newsletter. We're talking about content optimization. A powerhouse system is when you only create one piece of content. And as I'm saying here, I'm starting with the blog. This blog is the same as my YouTube. It's the same script. And I'll show you an example now. And I also use that blog to create a weekly newsletter. So I put out a blog per week, and I create a weekly newsletter where I tell my subscribers about that theme of the week. So let's say that the theme of the week is the content strategy. So I have a whole blog about content strategy, and on my email, I tell them, Did you know that to create a content strategy, you need to know about these three secrets? I list the three secrets. I don't give much information. I tell them if you want to learn more, if you're interested, head over to my blog or head over to my YouTube. So I'm not creating new content. I'm just like summarizing a little bit and sending my subscribers to my long form pieces of content, which is my blog and my YouTube, right? So after that, that same information you have in your blog can be converted into a, you can share the link of the blog into LinkedIn and you have a post there and it automatically like creates the banner and you write a caption that can be recycled from the blog and you have a LinkedIn post there. You can summarize the blog into an Instagram carousel. Again, you just have to take a few extracts of the blog, put it into a simple carousel, you're done. You can get an extract of this blog and do a quote, a tweet quote, and share like a tweet about it, maybe with the link to your blog if you want. And then you can get maybe the main idea or the most important part and create an Instagram single post, right? So there you have, from one blog post you have one, two, three, four, five, six, and you can even take that Instagram single post and post it as a Pinterest pin. So you have 7 pieces of content there. But we don't stop there. You can actually take the YouTube video that you have and take one extract, your favorite extract, and post it as a reel, post it as a TikTok, post it as a short, and post it as an idea pin. So now you have presence in all the social media channels, including your own space, which is your newsletter. You're present in all of these with only one piece of content per week, right? Repurposing is really simple. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need to be creating like fancy designs or anything. Just make sure that the messaging is the most important part. So now you're present in all of these. So when the time comes, you might not have people that log in on Instagram every day, but they do check YouTube, or you might have people that don't have social media, but they check your newsletter. So you're making sure you're reaching more people um, in different platforms. And when the time comes to sell, you're going to be able to sell everywhere. So you get more chances of selling, more revenue, right? And at the end of the day, that's what the content powerhouse system is for. So let's see it in practice. This is one of the blogs that I created. It's actually one of the blogs I created for Metricool. How I plan 30 days of content for social media without burnout, which I transformed into a YouTube video. I changed the titles, but you don't have to. If you want, you can change the titles also to test and see what drives more traffic. And then from that YouTube, I extracted apart and I created shorts, reels, TikToks. The good part about a YouTube video is that you can extract as many pieces of content. There are also AI tools that take your video and extract the best parts, and it creates the short form video for you already. And even it writes the captions for you, so you don't have to do any extra work. But if you want only one, you can just do one, shorts, reels, TikTok. Then I repurpose that for Pinterest. So these are the pins. I repurpose that for LinkedIn. So I shared this post on LinkedIn also as a article blog. Um, and then on Instagram, a single post, which you can see that is also something that I repurposed for this class. So repurposing your content is key, and not only for social media, but if you're ever doing presentations, if you're ever doing a blog, repurposing is key. And then, well, the carousel, right? So the key takeouts of a content powerhouse system is that you have in 2023, if you want to stand out and if you want your content strategy to succeed, you have to maximize your content output, which means more reach. You're going to reach more people because you're present in more platforms. You're going to reduce your content efforts. So instead of creating different pieces of content for all the social media platforms, you're going to save time by creating just one and repurposing. And that's going to help you optimize time. And then you're going to amplify your message. The more platforms you're in, the more authority you will have, and this will lead to more sales when the time to sell comes. And that's why Metricool is so perfect for this, because as you can see, it allows you to post at once in all the social media platforms where you should be present in. You can just create the content, and then you can edit it by network to personalize it a little bit. So again, if you are already Metricool member, but you want to try one of their premium plans for free, we're offering a link with my code Creator Academy. You'll get access to any of their premium plans for free for 30 days, so you can test all of the premium features. But Metrical is free, and their free features are amazing as well. So we've covered secret number 2. We're going to go to secret number 3, which is content optimization, okay? Which is basically the process of improving and refining your social media content to improve its relevance, visibility, and effectiveness in achieving your goals. It's basically taking the content, analyzing it, seeing what worked and what didn't work, maybe getting rid of what didn't work, taking what worked, improving it, and reposting it. And for that, we're going to follow this framework, the RAOR or RAOR. If you want, it sounds like a lion, RAOR framework. Okay. And this framework consists in the following: review your content's performance on a monthly basis, use metrical insights to analyze each post and the overall metrics. And we're going to go over all of this, so don't worry. Use your observations to optimize your content, repost, and repeat. So, step number 1, review your content. So, you're going to go to your analytics section inside Metricool. You're going to go to analytics here, select the desired social media account. For this exercise, we're going to focus only on Instagram, right? And these are the things you're going to be looking for when it comes to analyzing individual posts, okay? Your organic reach, your organic total interactions, and your engagement rate. So here's a screenshot of my insights on Metricool, okay? I've organized them from like the highest reach to the lowest reach. On Metricool, you're going to have a dashboard, a separate dashboard for your feed posts, which include single post, carousels, and live videos. And there's a separate dashboard for your reels. So we're going to take a look at both. Don't worry. Okay. So in the first one, you can see that the type is a carousel at the top. Organic reach was 41,000. Organic interactions were 3.49 thousand, and organic engagement rate 85.05. This in percentage would be 8.5. So this post did extremely well, actually. 8.5% is quite good. All right. And then for your reels, you've got the same. You've got organic reach, you've got organic interactions, and organic engagement. Okay. So once you review your posts individually, it's time to get observations and analyze it. Okay, so what can we get out of like these snapshots that we just saw? Well, for static post or for feed post, carousels had the highest reach. We saw it here that it's a carousel post, right? Then vulnerable posts are performing the best for my account. This carousel over here is a vulnerable post. If you can see the caption here, it says, I'm opening up about some struggles that I had back then. And as you can see, this ties in to one of my personality pillars, which is one of my core values, which is vulnerability. So it works. If you incorporate personality pillars into your content, they perform better. So do this exercise when we finish. Think about what are your core values, what are your personality pillars in general, and how can you start incorporating them into all your pieces of content. Coming back to this, and then we can see that collaborations are bringing the highest reach on reels. Here we can see that my highest reaching reel was a collaboration. So what can I get from this? Okay, I need to do more carousels. I need to keep creating vulnerable content, and I need to keep collaborating with reels. So those are my observations for individual posts. Now we're gonna take a look at analyzing our monthly content, at the overall content. For this, we're gonna look at the total impressions, which is the total number of people, not people individually, but the total number of times your posts were seen. So one person can see your post 2 or 3 times, and that counts as 2 or 3 impressions. The total accounts reached, that's individual people that you reach through your content. Total profile views, how many of these accounts that you reached went to your profile. And total website clicks, how many of these profile visitors clicked on your website. You could also add in this ladder, you could also add follower growth. So how many of the total profile views converted to followers. But I like to focus on the business metrics that matter. And for people that are building a business, is website clicks. At the end of the day, we want to take our social media followers out of social media, either to our email list, either to our offers so that they become customers. So website clicks it might be metric that not a lot of people talk about, but it's extremely important. It lets you know if your content is working or not. And you can find all these metrics on Metricool as well. You have your impressions, you have your average reach per day, which if you want to calculate your total reach per the month, well, you just multiply that. And this is December, so there's 31 days in December. So you multiply that by 9,132, the profile visits, and the website clicks. And now you take a look at this and analyze it. Okay, so from the total impressions, I had 387,000 people. Okay, from these, unique people were 283,000, so almost 100,000 more impressions, which means that my content is actually being saved or shared, that these unique accounts are coming back to my content and seeing it more than once. So that's a really good sign. If you have more impressions than account reached, it's a good sign that your content is working. Then profile views, from these 283,000 people, 2,658 visited my profile. That's more or less like a 5% conversion, and that's an okay number. Like 5% is okay. And from those 12,406 visited, clicked on my website, on my link in bio. Okay, that's a little bit less than 5%, but still a good number. Okay, so now once you've analyzed all your content, you're gonna look at your top and worst performing pieces of content across channels, and you're gonna ask yourself these two questions. How can you improve your best performing content? So going back to my static post, carousels are vulnerable, carousels are performing well. How can I improve that? Maybe I can incorporate video into these carousels, video where carousels with video tend to perform much better, by the way. So maybe I can incorporate video to make this more engaging, or maybe I can do a collaborative carousel with another creator, and that could explode my reach. And then think about, is my worst performing content 100% necessary within my strategy? Can I try a different take or perspective, or should I get rid of this? So, just so you know, anytime you're doing something that's promotional, anytime you're promoting whether it's your products or your services or your free guide that you want because you're building your email list, normally these posts will perform worse than the community post and the growth posts. Okay, so but these are absolutely necessary in your content strategy because you're selling us. So obviously we're not going to get rid of those, but maybe if we are, I don't know, let's talk about my content pillars. Let's say that the mindset content pillar, when I do content which is related to mindset, is not working that well. Is that absolutely necessary? Can I maybe do another take or change a different perspective? Maybe I can incorporate another personality pillar to this to see if it works better. And if not, just get rid of this. And to be honest, the most successful accounts on social media are the ones that have one or two content pillars, and they talk about the same thing over and over again. Builds more trust, credibility, easier to convert when it comes to selling. So you might start with 5 or 6 content pillars, but the more you optimize your content strategy, you're gonna see, okay, maybe I'll get rid of this one, I'll get rid of this one, and I'm just gonna keep with do this these 2 or 3 or just one content pillar and like maximize my efforts with it. All right. So once you've asked yourself this, it's time to repost and repeat. So for your long form content, you can change the titles, descriptions, and covers. These 2 blogs over here are my top performing blogs from last year. They both got over 6,000 views. That came from Google, actually. So what I did this year is I changed the title. I just changed the date, so in 2023, and I changed some wordings inside of the blog as well to make it more relevant for this year, 2023. You can do the same. I could have changed the covers as well. And you can do the same for YouTube. If you have a video that's performing really well, that performed well at the beginning of the year, maybe next year change the cover, change the description, add the new date, and it will continue performing better. So you'll still get that reach and that discovery through your long form pieces of content, your evergreen content, which is, as I said, super important for any business on the internet. Really, you need to have a presence either in blog, in Google, or YouTube. And when it comes to short form content, you can just repurpose and repeat. These 3 posts here are exactly the same. Like if you check them out, they say exactly the same thing. One is a carousel that says stop making these reels mistakes. The second one is a reel that is saying, are you wondering why your reels keep flopping? And the next one is a different design, stop making these reels mistakes. The same thing, same content, same idea. It's a post that performed really well for me, so I'm just repeating it and repurposing it. And this is another example. We're talking about, this is a topic that my audience really resonates with, and it's like low reach. So first video is like, are you struggling with low reach lately? Here are 7 hacks to fix it. The second carousel is why your reach is dead and how to fix it. The third carousel, this is why your posts are not being seen. And the fourth reel, this is what happened when I took a 3 week social media break and my reach is super low. This is what I'm doing to fix it. Okay, same concept, same idea, just different designs. But you don't even have to change the design. You can just take the same design that you did maybe like a couple 2 or 3 months ago, repost it again. It will perform super well again. And remember that not everyone sees your content all the time. So if you repost that, you're making sure that other people who did not see the first one are seeing this one. And that would be the 3 secrets for content strategy that actually works. And we're gonna go now to the Q&A. So yeah, let me know, guys, what you think about these secrets. If you have any questions about them, you can also ask things about Instagram or social media. Let's make this fun Q&A.
Thank you so much, Juan. That
Oh,
was truly
s-
so valuable.
and sorry, before I forget, for staying until the end, I do have a free resource that we're going to be sharing in the comment section. It's a insights tracker that you can use to track your monthly insights on Instagram and your weekly insights, or like the insights per post, using Metricool. So it's a Google sheet that you can just use, and there's a video inside of the Google Sheets that explains you how to use it. But if you have questions about it, you can always send me a DM, an email, and I'll be very happy to answer them. So now let's go to the Q&A.
Okay, so someone asked, will followers get sick of the content if you repurpose it across platforms in the same week?
That's a great question. I would not repurpose the exact same piece of content in the same week. But to be honest, not everyone who saw your post on Monday is going to see your post on Friday. So what you could do is you could just change the take, or maybe change a little bit the caption, or if the topic, the theme is the same, it doesn't really matter. As I said, there are people who just talk about Instagram growth every single day, and that's their main content pillar, and it works extremely well for them. Um, if you take the same pose and I don't know, on Monday, and then on Wednesday you post the same cover or the same video with the same caption, it might seem a little bit annoying for some people. So I would not do it. The best thing to repurpose is wait at least like a month and a half to 2 months. That's a
Mhm.
good like time to wait. But when it comes to the theme, you can talk about the same thing all throughout the week, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying. Okay, someone asked too, is your blog on a website you make sales through, or do you use a third-party resource?
Great question as well. So I have my blog on Wix, because it's great for, it's super easy to manage. I actually manage my website on my own and my blog there, and it has a lot of organic, like it performs really well with SEO. Wix.com. And so funny story, before mm, having my brand named IG Creator Academy, I was actually shoot with one because I was a photographer. I was still sharing social media content on my blog, but it was shootwithone.com. That's when my blogs started to go viral. Like I was getting thousands of visits every week, because Wix gives you a very simple way of optimizing your blogs for SEO. Like it tells you what to put, where to put it, and
Mhm.
it just started getting a lot of views. But when I changed my domain to IG Creator Academy, unfortunately, I didn't do it right, and I lost all my SEO scores. So I
No.
still have the views there, but not the SEO score. But it will build up again. Wix is really good with that. So if you want to start a blog, I would 100% recommend Wix. WordPress is really good as well. Metrical has theirs in WordPress, but it's a little bit more complex. So if you are not very tech savvy, I would recommend using Wix.
Yeah, WordPress is nice, but definitely takes some time to learn. And I've been using it for a few years, and still sometimes I'm like, I don't know how to do all of the functions. Okay, so someone said, what are your thoughts on starting with a YouTube video instead of written text? I know you kind of talked about this, but when it comes to kind of building, that YouTube first, how could you, transform it to that blog?
It's really the same approach. You start with a long form piece of content. If your zone of genius is really like video and showing up on video, then go for it. But just remember that the script of your video can be turned into a blog post. And I don't know, like if you plan your videos in advance, which you should, you will write a script first before recording it. Just take that script and post it into a blog. Simple as that. If you don't plan your videos and you just like to like record them as you go and see what happen, what you say, what comes up to your mind, then you can use other tools that create transcripts. So they take the audio of your video and turn it into like written text. And this also works for, I don't know if you've ever done like a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live. You can take those videos, upload them to the transcript tool,
Mhm.
and then you get a written text and you can just post it in a blog.
Perfect. Okay, and then kind of going off of those tools, which AI tools do you use to help you repurpose those content?
So I can't remember the name right now. I think there's one that's called Meet Edgar that helps you
Mhm.
repurpose your social media content and like actually creates and for the video one, I saw it recently on someone's reel. I talked about it with Alex actually, uh, but I can't remember. But if you just
No
Google like
worries.
repurpose YouTube videos to shorts, I'm sure you'll find a lot of tools out there. They're probably all great. Some might be free, some might be paid. But
Mhm.
for social media post itself, like taking a blog post and turning it into quote and all that, I know that Meet Edgar does that.
Okay, perfect. Metricool also just launched an AI text generator. So if
Oh,
you go into our planner, you can see a little robot icon on the bottom, and you can generate 5 new text ideas. This is great, for times where you just kind of lacking inspiration or need some new ideas. So
yeah.
AI tools are huge and they're really taking off on social media right now. So super useful.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely need to try it.
Okay, so what if your content doesn't fit that well in social media trends, say reels? Should we try to adapt it or should we be authentic to the way we like sharing our content?
Always be authentic. Always be authentic to the way you create your content because that's how you stand out. And you don't need to follow the trends actually. Like and this is something that I do teach inside my course. I teach my Reels course. I teach people how they can create original reels that are not only trending audios or dances or lip syncs. Like how can you create short form video content that stands out by using your own voice? So if your content, if you have, I don't know, let's say a blog post or you can just take an extract and do a reel where you talk out loud about that part and at the end ask people like, does this resonate with you or you have any questions? You just show up on video, talk, be yourself. Like you don't have to follow any kind, there's no rules when it comes to reels, right?
Mhm,
There's no rules when it comes to content creation. The thing that you do need to keep in mind is to be authentic and to stick to your personality pillars. Your content pillars might change over time. Mine have changed actually. When I first started, I wasn't doing monetization, for example, because I hadn't really monetized first. So I didn't have this experience to talk about this. After I did it and after I've helped other people do it, I'm talking about this more. So your content pillars might change. Your personality pillars are always going to be the same. So don't remember to think about these and find ways of getting these out through your content, through your videos. Use your voice, most specifically for reels. Always use your voice. Narrate something. Tell a story. There's so many different ways. If you want the more information about the Reels course, you can go to my Instagram profile and in the link in bio, you'll find it there.
amazing. Okay, I think that might be all the time we have for questions, but I just want to say thank you again, Juan. This was so, so valuable. For people who are watching, you know, the recording, seriously take notes. This is huge. And I also just want to highlight on how you actually, use those metrics to then interpret them and improve your content, because I think a lot of times people get kind of overwhelmed with those numbers and don't know exactly how to interpret them. So if that is you, watch this, go back, see how Juan used those metrics and turned it into improving his content. And
Yes.
also, it always goes back to that content strategy. And as you talked about, it through this duration of the presentation, you talked about how it always came back to your personality pillars, those content pillars. So, yeah, just thank you again. That was awesome.
Awesome. And I know we couldn't answer some questions, so feel free to DM me. I always answer my DMs. I might not answer them like right away, but I do check my DMs like 2 to 3 times a week, and I try to answer them all. So if we can answer your questions, just send me a DM. I hope you enjoyed the spreadsheet. Again, I've recorded a 16-minute video walking you through it, so you can start tracking your insights and improving your content strategy. But if there's any doubt or question, again, just send me a DM about it.
Hey.
Okay.
And if you haven't created your account yet, you can sign up for free at metricool.com. And you can also use Juan's code Creator Academy to try any of our premium plans 30 days for free. So if you want to, have full access to Metricool, try out all of our features, use that code and try it out.
And awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for joining. Happy Friday, happy weekend, happy creating for those of you who are creating content this weekend. And I'll see you on Instagram, and we'll definitely do another masterclass very soon. So we'll see you there as well.
Yes, don't forget to tag us in your stories,
Yes,
both
please.
Metricool
Okay.
and IG Creator Academy. Thank you again, Juan. Have a great weekend.
You
Bye,
too, guys.
everyone.
Bye bye.